I loved to run. I never felt so free as when I was racing the wind with the sun on my face and no particular place to go. Running from my ex-best friend because he was dead set on trying to tie my legs into a square knot didn't fill me with the same exhilaration. "You're roadkill when I catch you, Hector!" I thought of at least 3 devastating comebacks to shout over my shoulder, but I needed to save my breath to stay ahead of Blake Nesbitt. He loved to run too, and for as long as I'd known him, he'd been a little faster than me. It had started in the locker room. I'd just finished changing out of my school uniform into my gym clothes when Blake attacked me for no reason. I was so surprised that I stumbled to the side, which was the only reason I managed to avoid his punch. I couldn't believe that Blake was actually trying to hit me. I'd never seen him hit anyone before. I turned to the other boys for help, but they looked away like they were too scared to get between me and Blake. With no help coming, I made a break for the door. The moment I hit open air, I put on a burst of speed and sprinted toward the PE field, looking for somewhere to hide. I couldn't let Blake catch me or I was a goner for sure. I could run for the bleachers, which wouldn't offer much protection, or try for the trees at the edge of the field, but if Coach caught me there, Blake would be the least of my problems. There was one other place I could hide. Behind the field stood the old clergy house, a 2-story building with filthy windows that screamed, "I am definitely haunted." It was the last original building from the 1950s, when St. Lawrence's Catholic School for Boys had been built. There were rumors of a ghost that lurked around the old clergy house, and I was a believer, as were most of the boys at St. Lawrence's. Under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have gone within 10 yards of that place, but I hoped Blake's fear of the ghost would keep him from following me. When I reached the building, I skidded to a stop to catch my breath. "Hector, over here!" And then I stopped breathing. The hot, humid air grew chilly, the skin on my arms turned to chicken flesh, and the hair on the back of my neck rose. I looked around to make sure it wasn't another boy playing a prank on me, but I was alone behind the clergy house, as far as I could tell, and I didn't recognize the voice. It grated across my ears and felt like an itch in my brain. "Hurry up, Hector!" I was imagining things. That had to be it. Because the alternative was that the ghost at St. Lawrence's was talking to me and knew my name. A shout from the field broke me from my stupor. Blake was getting closer. I didn't know what to do. Follow a ghost I couldn't see or take my chances with Blake. I had no idea what the ghost wanted with me, but Blake's intentions were pretty clear. "This way, Hector." I chose the ghost. Quickly but quietly, I crept around to the rear of the building, sticking close to the wall. When St. Lawrence's was founded, the clergy house was where the priests lived. Now, the school used it to store desks, textbooks, sports equipment, and whatever junk they didn't need at the main building. Not that I'd ever been inside. It was strictly off-limits to students. Derek Boyd swore he'd snuck in once and that he'd seen spiders as big as footballs scurrying around, and slimy black mold growing on the walls. Derek also claimed his sister was an android, his parents were international art thieves, and that he'd caught a great white shark while fishing at the beach, so I doubted he'd ever actually been in the clergy house. It didn't look like I was getting in either. Both the knob and the deadbolt above it were locked, and no matter how hard I shook the door, it didn't budge. "If someone's there, please let me in!" Shutters covered the first-floor windows, probably to keep out kids like me. I was toast, the kind that's so burnt you can't save it no matter how much peanut butter you cover it with. A wave of hopelessness washed over me. It was like someone had scooped out the happiness inside me and left me empty. I wanted to quit. Blake was going to win anyway. In 5th grade, I'd been taller than Blake, but he'd sprouted a few inches over the summer, leaving me the runt of the 6th grade litter. He was bigger and stronger and faster than me. I should give up now. There was a click, and when I looked, the deadbolt was unlocked.